Welcome to the Jack Jones Show. Thanks for joining me. If you weren't living under a rock this week, you might have seen that President Trump contracted coronavirus. The American news media and the Democratic Party were savage in their attacks of President Trump this week. Take a look.
A lot of people have been put in jeopardy by the president's behavior, and now we've learned, of course, this morning that one of those people is the president himself. It is also the most vivid possible demonstration of the incompetence and the irresponsibility of the administration.
In large part, it's his own dereliction is partly to blame for this. He chose to go out to rallies. Is this now a moment of reckoning that, yes, this is real? It is not a hoax.
If President Trump can't be out there on the campaign trail for the next 2 weeks, then he is going to rely on his surrogates. And unfortunately, one of his surrogates is Vladimir Putin. So you are likely going to see this campaign ramped up by Russia over the next few weeks to try to substitute for the president's absence on the campaign trail.
That's right. Trump is derelict and incompetent for holding socially distanced rallies with masks in an election season. He should be responsible and hide in the basement like Joe Biden. Also, I don't get why Don Lemon is still allowed to spout these obvious lies about Trump. Trump never said that this was a hoax. What Trump said was that the Democratic Party's response to coronavirus is a hoax. Big difference, been fact-checked a million times, everybody knows it. Don't know why Don Lemon's still saying it, and I don't know why CNN are allowing him to say it. Well, I mean, I do understand why, because CNN is the propaganda wing of the Democratic Party, and we'll see evidence of that in this next clip when Nancy Pelosi toes the narrative of CNN.
It's tragic. It's very sad. But it also is something that going into crowds, unmasked and all the rest, was sort of a brazen invitation for something like this to happen.
That's right. It's sad, but Trump had it coming. He shouldn't have worn that short skirt. He shouldn't have walked down that dark alleyway at night, popping that cleavage. And this is coming from someone who went to a salon a few months ago, didn't wear a mask, who was caught on CCTV, and then said this about it.
As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
So Nancy Pelosi and CNN and MSNBC, total hypocrites, as always. It's not groundbreaking news, it happens every week. So Trump had coronavirus at this point, then 3 or 4 days pass, and he releases this video.
And one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives.
So Trump beats coronavirus. He goes to Walter Reed Medical Center, beats it in 3 or 4 days, goes back to the White House in a car, has a photo op, posts the video. And I mean, it's a really good message. It's a message of strength. It's a message of hope in an uncertain time. There's an election 4 weeks away. I mean, the leader of the free world's just got coronavirus. But if you thought that the fake news media were enraged before Trump had recovered, you should have seen them afterwards.
Of course, you should be afraid of COVID and how disrespectful that is.
It is insulting to every American who wears a mask, who's been laid off as a result of COVID.
Everyone should be afraid of COVID. Look what it has already done.
I'm flabbergasted by that, and honestly, I cannot stop thinking about it.
Whipped his mask off in front of the American people on the nightly news last night. So, as a doctor whose job it is, take it off. Please, don't even put it on the screen. Please take it off. Because that's going to kill people.
There's a video of a very sick man with very sick ideas. I'm going to show you another deeply perverse statement that Donald Trump made tonight on that video, and I will let him say it in his own words, with his own voice. You will hear that, but with the appropriate warning, viewers should know that what you're about to hear is utterly insane and dangerous.
You should be afraid of coronavirus. It's hiding under your bed and it'll get you. And if you don't wear your mask, you'll kill people. But most importantly, the main point is that Trump is a sick and dangerous man, said the media, hoping that you would forget that months ago they said with a straight face that Trump was racist for closing the borders early against World Health Organization advice. You know that World Health Organization who totally got everything right and totally aren't in China's pocket? If you thought the media's response to that was bad, then have a look at what Chris Cuomo said, who is maybe the only person on national TV dumber than Don Lemon.
Hair blown majestically, reshooting the scene for his own ad. I hold rallies, and I tell you to ignore masks, and I rip mine off as I vanquish the virus because I am a leader. Fear not, COVID. What a bunch of bull. You want a metaphor? You've got a president who was a drunk driver who is pushing others to drive drunk. And now I don't have to feign any extra measure of compassion.
Cuomo's actually lost his mind. How is he still on television? It's ridiculous. And what a great analogy, by the way. Or the leader of the free world is like a drunk driver. I hope he doesn't hit anybody, but I'm also glad I don't have to feign common decency anymore. I was never commonly decent. I always wanted the leader of the free world to be unwell and to die of coronavirus because his success is bullshit. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Cuomo's obviously a complete and total hypocrite, probably worse than Nancy Pelosi if that was even possible. Cuomo had coronavirus earlier this year and was caught on national television not socially distancing and going to the gym, as you'll see next.
Don't you have the coronavirus? Shouldn't you be quarantined? And I think his next words were, what the hell do you know about this? What do you know about the rules? I said, you're not supposed to be out here. Nobody had gloves on. Nobody had masks on.
The fake news media, because they're the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party, they're their mouthpiece, have had one singular objective in the last 4 years: destroy Donald Trump at all costs. That's why Trump had coronavirus coming. That's why Putin's his surrogate. That's why they are not feigning common decency anymore. And that's why Donald Trump's success, to them, is bullshit.
Of bull.